Okay. In case you didn't know, y'all are tuned into the Remix Morning Show. We giving you that boom bap breakfast. In case you didn't know, once again, this is Black Power Media. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and let me introduce you to your host today. You got Dr. Jared Ball. Burn it down, Kim Brent. And Kalanji Jama Chunga.
Yes, y'all.
You like how Ear Doctor dug in deep for that chonga.
Hey, man.
Chonga.
Put some T-Pain on my name. Never mind, I don't need no T-Pain. Word up. What's happening? Yeah, they like it like that. What's happening? How y'all feeling today?
Hey, but when I saw T-Pain on Mass Singer, that's actually the first time I respected that man's work. I had never paid him any attention. I had no idea he could actually sing. And that dude is a very talented dude.
Yeah. Guess what, Jared? You know more about T-Pain than me. Just in that.
Hey, I had no idea that between that and he does well in those buying power commercials.
Okay. Interesting.
You know, wrong message, but he's talented.
Nah, he's nice. He's nice with it.
Talented singer, talented songwriter, indeed, and producer.
It makes me wonder, did Roger Troutman, can he really sing?
Roger Troutman?
You know, that's a good question. I have no idea.
I think Zapp themselves, they were talented musicians as a whole. So it's horrible what happened to Roger. You know what I'm saying? Being murdered by his own brother.
Oh, Jesus, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, damn.
Yeah. His brother wanted to go on tour and you know, he needed that money. And Roger's like, nah, we straight. And dude, like, murked him in his own car. Shout out to Roger Troutman, Larry Troutman, and the whole crew. And shout out to Shirley Murdoch because Roger Troutman put Shirley Murdoch on.
Yes, because that's Shirley Murdoch singing on Computer Love along with Charlie Wilson.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Look at this music history this morning.
You know what I'm saying? I was just going to look at all the gems you get.
Look here, man.
Bat breakfast.
Look, if the Ear Doctor could talk about history, we could talk about music.
Hey, there it is. There it is. And also, that was a hell of a song, Shirley. What's her name? Murdoch?
Yeah.
Thank you for getting the name right, brother.
I mean, straight scheming, like, really? As you laying with another man in the
But then
she had a song called Husband.
Right.
That you are that lady's husband.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now she did from there, she ended up becoming a gospel singer. She actually signed to what's your man's name?
Kirk Franklin?
No, what's the other preacher guy name?
Creflo Dollar?
No, bald head, heavyset dude. You named all the goddamn preachers. Hey, Reverend Ike. She named every damn body.
TD Jakes.
TD Jakes. Yeah, she signed a TD Jakes label, actually. So yeah.
Oh man.
I'd be interested to hear Shirley Murdoch gospel album because Shirley got tapes. Shirley
is gospel.
Low. You know I believe that. Yeah.
Certain artists are gospel by nature. That's without even singing from not from the religious perspective, but to me,
vocals.
Those gospel vocals usually smash. You know what I'm saying?
She should get an award for being #1 side piece.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, Doctor, anyway. can we give the lady some grace?
But you know,
you're referring to are 35 years old, sir. Like these are old ass tracks you're referring to, baby.
But this is a good, I don't know how many years ago this is, but I will say that once upon a time I had caught a young woman's attention, and knowing that I was married, her response was to make me a mixtape that was about 13 tracks, mostly of reggae and dancehall, all of which were themed something along the lines of "I'll be the other woman," or "You shouldn't be with her, you should be with me."
Look at Jared.
Impressed. I was humbled. I was honored that she would, think it worthy to make such an attempt.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway. I was, and I'm a mixtape. I'm a sucker for mixtapes.
Look at Jared, sexy bastard.
Oh shit! So Jared, so you and your wife would listen to this mixtape and laugh, right?
More or less.
Yeah,
I mean, more or less. But it was, and then sometimes, every once in a while, sometimes it's like she could have you. It's like,
wow. Well, you know what happened, Kim, right?
What's her number? Call her now. Tell her to come pick you up right now. Send her your current location.
Exactly.
Hey, yo, Kim.
Track 7.
Jared didn't tell the rest of the story. You said it was how many minutes? 13 minutes?
13 or so tracks. It was like
okay.
It was a whole,
It ended up being the playlist for Ray J and Kim Kardashian. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh,
anyway.
Man, but did I see correctly? I don't mean to follow all of that at all, but did I see correctly that old boy put Kanye's children on a tattoo on his neck?
Tatted the man, kids' initials.
Did Pete Davidson do that? He is trying to push everybody.
I mean, and that sounds good. And honestly, man, from that particular perspective, that's some white shit right there. You know what I'm saying? That's a straight up white shit right there.
Oh,
he's showing his whiteness. Got the balls milkshakes, bring it on the. I don't want to know about that. I started to read it. I just said, man, forget about it.
That's why I stayed. That's
why whoever put that should be banned for making us see that.
That's funny.
Anyway.
No. Pete Davidson, I saw that. I said, man, he's pushing buttons, man. Hold on, Kanye. Don't snap, man.
But
go to therapy.
Kanye would be wrong if he pull a Mike Tyson and roll up on Pete and bite Pete on his neck and snatch that joint off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, honestly, like some shit like that. I'm pro. I'm pro Kanye kicking his ass for that. You know what I'm saying?
Even DL Hughley.
Exactly. DL was on Kanye's side
on that one.
But that's one of the moments, Jared, when when you be on the cat side, then they go too far. They like, man, see, we was there. And then
I was on your team, but damn,
you want to bring the kids in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
on you, tattoo them and then
take Like, you can't say that about the kids. What's wrong with you, man?
Listen,
you can put the kids tat on your neck.
I mean, you're right. That is some white shit. I mean, Kim gonna be done with his ass in next year. By next year, it's gonna be a new one. And
I didn't realize they've only been together for 6 months. I thought this has felt like such a long background noise to me.
Yeah.
Damn.
And like a true sucker, he go get a quick tat, and Kim gonna drop him in about 2 weeks because according to this story I just read, Kim's into dark meat. Boom, boom, boom. Anyway, so
according to the video playlist,
her previous marriages, like Pete is an anomaly out here. I didn't even know Kim was into fellow Caucasians.
Kim didn't even know herself, but you know what I'm saying. But the whole tat on the neck thing. Yeah, he gets the gas face for that, man. That's some stuff.
Well, the first article I read years ago from Francis Cress Welsing said that white folks cover themselves in tattoos and grow their hair out as much as possible in a way to subconsciously darken themselves. So maybe she was blinded by the tattoos and thought he was a shade. I don't know.
That's what it is.
No.
I don't know. What do I know?
Yeah, and I ain't even tripping on dude. I mean, but honestly,
I didn't even mean I did not intend to bring that up because I meant to spend these few minutes asking Kim again, or just or bringing up again for Kim because I don't think you're watching it. That I saw episode 2 of We Own These Streets, and HBO is gone into full blown. Let's make the police as an institution look as good as possible, despite the fact that we're nominally focused on their corruption. So it was a whole lot of backstories and context for the cops. Like you get all their, their histories and their nothing for the people of Baltimore, nothing for black people. It's just, and then it's the same, good county cops, bad city cops.
Oh my God.
And it's a trip, man. It's just a trip to see it happening. And anyway, that was it. That was it.
Who else is involved in this besides? I mean, that's a loaded question I'm asking you, Jared. But I guess I'm asking, to your knowledge, did anybody Black writing wise contribute to this, or is this a David Simon, Justin Fenton exclusive? Like,
as far as I know, it is. It's like you know what? I should look into that as much as I'm giving it, an hour a week of my time. Right. I should look into that. But that part that I can't answer that specifically. I don't recall seeing any attribution to others, but I will look into that. But the thing for me is that, black, white, or other, it's the sort of, again, kind of like what they want to leave out. It's the context of the institution, in this case, the media, where even if it's a black writer, HBO executives and probably the venture capital behind that, they have to sign off on the content. So, you at best, you'll get a black version of what they want, or a blacker version of what they want. I thought, just listening to some of the dialogue, the one thing I did think is that they must have consultation in terms of the dialect, the slang, of course, the things that
I wonder who they go to that for. Easy Jackson? Did they put Easy Jackson on? I'm just curious, like, because that Baltimore accent is unique. You know what I mean? It's unique. The slang is unique to Baltimore. So it's like, all right, y'all had to engage some actual Black Baltimoreans on this, of a certain age, of course. You know what I mean? So I'm curious.
Well, I think that they do, just from
dialect coach.
Yeah, even from the actors involved. I mean, you see a lot of Wire retreads and Baltimore based. I mean, even folks, that I've worked with at Morgan are there. So that, you get, they might be helping, is what I thought, but I should just look into it. I figured the hour I'm watching, or the 48 to 52 minutes I'm watching each week is enough, but I should look into it. So stay tuned, everybody.
Every now and then HBO would do something that's not necessarily pro-cop. I think the joint that Mike Africa Jr. did, what was the piece dealing with Move,
right.
With his parents, and then my man Victorious did another film, and I'm have brain freeze right now, but it was in regards to situation in Brooklyn, Crown Heights. That actually
I think I know what you're talking about too.
And it's sad, because I was out there for a couple of the protests, and it's after you do this work so long, all the names become jumbled and mumbled, and it's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's how many people that the state murders. But I'll get back to you. But it's definitely a great film as well that won several different awards on the circuit. But every now and then HBO will let some shit slip in.
Yeah, no question.
It's doable, especially around race.
Yeah. Well, that and of course the media never holds itself accountable in the way that it gives police grace. That was actually the main topic of my show last night. The title of my show was the department has a history of lying. This is how the media should frame police murders, right? Anytime the cops kill somebody, murder somebody, the media obviously always goes with whatever the police narrative was. Police say, officials say, authorities say that XYZ transpired. And then weeks later, or the next day, or 7 days later, it turns out that the first version of events is always a fucking lie, right? And the media never leads off these stories with the Baltimore Police Department has a history of lying. The Philadelphia Police Department has a history of lying. Here are instances in which they have lied on previous similar occasions. They never frame it that way. It's always, well, here's what the police said, so we're going to go with that. And it's lazy. It does the public a disservice. Obviously, it just emboldens the police to be, storytellers. They can frame the narrative however they so choose. And as a journalist, it's heartbreaking to see. It's expected, but that's why it's important for us to counter that narrative. You know what I'm saying? I will always believe for a fact, and I will present my show as such. These motherfuckers are liars. Okay, here's what they said, and believe it to be a fucking lie, because the department has a history of lying. Pick a department.
No doubt. Shout out to Manny Now. Yes, it was Yusef Hawkins. The name of the film is Yusef Hawkins Storm Over Brooklyn. My man Victorious put that out, so make sure y'all check that out. In fact, we had him on Renegade Culture talking about it, and Mike Africa Jr., because we get the hottest producers out whenever they putting out the good shit.
You said this on HBO, Kalanja?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, story of Yusuf Hawkins, Storm over Brooklyn, and I'm forgetting the name of the one that Mike Africa Jr. put out. Damn, what was the name of that? I think it was 42 years something.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about the Yusuf Hawkins, because I know we got Ear Doctor about to come up, but I just wanted to but the Yusuf Hawkins one, if it's the same one that I saw not too long ago, I have to admit that was the first time I learned that the narrative about him dating a white girl in that neighborhood was entirely false, and that it was white anger, and it was totally confusion among the whites and their own hatred and anger that he just happened to he was there to deliver something to somebody in the neighborhood, something crazy.
Nah, they were going to a party. Yeah. He's going to a party.
Okay, that's right.
Him and some of his friends, and it's crazy because I forget the dude's name, but it's a cat that worked for Hot 97, interned and worked for them for years. That was actually a part of that case, and then they found out about it, and they got rid of his monkey ass. But I can't think of his name right now. But the Mike Africa Jr. film is 40 Years of Prisoner, and
that's right.
Hopefully, we'll have some of the Move folks on. Coming up, because the May 13th anniversary is coming up as well. But yeah, I know you said the Ear Doctor's in the building.
No, I know because I was going to hit him with the one we know who always stays fair and balanced on them two turntables. Ready to give us our Champions League update? Yesterday was a great game. Today's going to be another one.
Okay, I'd like to thank all our people for tuning into our YouTube channel right here on Black Power Media. You know what I'm saying? Big up to all my Baltimoreans out there. So I'm gonna let you fill them in on that, but I got some other sports stuff I'm gonna talk about. So
talk about hockey. Caps won last night. Yeah.
A word.
Let's do it.
I don't know if we're gonna get to hockey today, Kim, but I appreciate it. I'll let you dig up that story on break. Anyway, big up to everybody out there. Thank y'all for tuning in. Man, I feel good today, man. I don't know what it is. It is what it is. I'm out here. Anyway, since you are feeling good too, and you are tuned into that Boom Bap Breakfast, hit that like button at the bottom. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Notification bell. Patreon.com. Go there, drop some change in the bucket, become a member. All them things. Do it. Might as well. You right here. Rock with us. Share it. Let somebody else know about this. It don't cost a dime. All right. So you see, I got the sports in the background. What am I going to talk about? Well, I'm going to take you to my segment. Past, present, future. That's right. So we talking past, present, future. But who are we talking about in sports? Well, I want to talk about the most exciting small men in the game that played in the game. Let's start off with the past. First, let's take it to no other than one of the best small men in the game that did it. Straight out of Hampton, VA. 46 years old. That's right. 1975. Great year. Also known as Bubba Chuck. AI, the answer. That's right. Played for the Sixers. 14 seasons in the NBA, both shooting guard and point guard. One of the best to ever do it. You talking about moves. You talking about just transforming the whole league with the braids and cornrows and everything, and the swag and the hip hop attire. And on the court, a beast. Now let's take it to the present. All right, let's talk about my man Russell Westbrook. That's right. He right now is playing for the Lakers, and they are not looking good. But he's straight from Long Beach, California. He's a 9-time NBA All-Star, earned the NBA Most Valuable Player Award. And you talking about can dunk and just take off in a second and change a whole game around. This dude right here is that guy. That's right. Big up to Russell Westbrook. And now let's talk about the future. Oh, my goodness. In case you do not know this brother right here, he goes by the name of Ja Morant. He plays right now for the Memphis Grizzlies. And, boy, they went at it last night. All this dude is missing is a three-point game. And once he gets it, he will be that future guy that is going to take the league to the next level. That's right. He is straight out of Denzel, South Carolina. That's right. So dude is only like 23 years old. He's doing this thing. He's going to be that guy once he develops that 3-point game. Remember, Michael Jordan didn't develop his 3-point game till later in his career. So that's my past, my present, and my future right here on the Remix Morning Show. Now let's go ahead and get back to our host.
Didn't Russell Westbrook get cut already? Didn't they get rid of him already? Didn't I just see that?
The Lakers?
For the Lakers? I think they did.
They're trying to move him.
I mean, I can see him get moved. It's too much over there. It's too many old heads on one team.
Yes, it is.
And then egos with it, and then the chemistry. Then you got a coach that really is just there to take orders from LeBron. So it's just, it's a whole mess.
But I do want to echo and shout out Allen Iverson, one of my favorite players of all time, and figures in the NBA beyond his play. I think he was, but also because of his time at Georgetown, where he took the Hoyas, who were at the time still my favorite team, deep into the March Madness, losing to Ray Allen. I remember that game when Ray Allen was at Connecticut. And then, of course, I showed up in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia shortly after his legend had taken off around, the bowling alley and all that kind of stuff that he had gotten in trouble for that led him to Georgetown in the first place. So, the whole incident where he was accused of being in a race ride at a bowling alley. And anybody who spent time, particularly in that late 80s, early 90s, in the Hampton area, Virginia Beach, Southern Virginia, that place was hot, boy. That racism was thick.
Let me shout out the Philly version of Allen Iverson, because I was in Philly when AI was taking the Sixers deep in the playoffs, into the finals. Philly idolized Iverson. And what I appreciated always about Iverson is that he was an anti-respectability hero. Allen Iverson was not here to placate these white folks. He didn't give a fuck what them white people had to say about anything. And I always respected AI for that. And the white establishment outside of Philadelphia, maybe even inside of Philadelphia, resented AI quite a bit. They intentionally, AI had a lot of police harassment. Like, people used to intentionally try to fuck with him to get him into additional trouble. And I know he used to post up at the TGI Fridays down there on City Ave. I seen him in there a couple times. I always appreciated his presentation, not only on the court but off the court. AI was a person for the people, of the people, and with the middle finger to the white people. And I loved him for that. And he was fine. Jesus, how can I leave out the most important thing? Allen Iverson was the finest thing out there hooping, baby. Woo! He's still fine. Y'all don't care, but ladies, y'all know AI is still fine.
We definitely don't care.
He's still fine.
But he did change the dress code. They dress coded the NBA because of him.
That's right. Yes.
That's right.
That's
he came
right.
and did the thing. And before I get out of here, like I said, the dude John Moran, I was watching the game last night. They playing against the Warriors, and this dude, man, he dunked on them so hard it was ridiculous. I mean, that's all he been doing. And once he gets that 3-point game, it's a wrap. So that's my sports for the day.
Hey, where's the hockey? Where's the hockey?
Oh, I'm about to get it right.
Hey,
all right.
That
Dr. Gretzky.
Liverpool, Villarreal. Shout out to Liverpool taking it home last night. That was a great game. And today, boy, Real Madrid, Man City gets no better. It's gonna be pretty. Anyway,
hey, man.
Slap a map.
Please slap the map.
Please slap it.
Shout out to the remixes. What's happening out there? 1, 2.
Right.
Hey, welcome everybody.
Go ahead.
Remix Morning Show, you guys. Be sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, follow us all the places. Black Power Media around the internet. Go to blackpowermedia.org and get your gear. Gerard, can you show off your mug for the people? Can we get a nice little Vanna White or Vanna Black presentation for the folks? Get your merch, y'all. Support this channel in all ways that you are able. Of course, we're looking for more patrons on patreon.com/Black Power Media if you want to support our ongoing work. Y'all see the channel growing. Y'all see these people up here working. You see what we trying to do out here. So we appreciate y'all support for y'all being with us, our very dedicated and faithful remixers in the chat. We appreciate y'all.
Okay.
Right on. Well said.
That's perfect commercial, perfect advertisement. We'll do commercials over here. Shout out to all our people out there supporting what we do. LA was on fire yesterday.
Yeah, it was. I saw.
You had the protests at the over the rally dealing with the overturning of Roe versus Wade. You had the Dave Chappelle got bum rushed, you know what I'm saying? And he had to put somebody in the fold, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what was going on in LA. So what we gonna start with today?
Well,
shout out to Vishal Singh. Shout out to the People City Council in LA. Vishal Singh is one of the independent journalists based in LA who follows a lot of the shit that we care about. And it's his clips that I've seen go viral this morning on Twitter. So shout out to Vishal. Shout out to Richie Sergenko from the People City Council. They are out there with the shits. So
Okay. All right. What we want to rock off with? Start off first.
Where you want to go, gentlemen?
I mean, I do have the Chappelle video pulled up.
Let's do that. I haven't seen it.
Let's start with that first.
Okay.
Then.
So, yeah, this is like there's a funny side to this, obviously, but I'll just let it rock. Eyewitnesses say Chappelle finishing his show when a man tackled him, is what the text is saying.
Whenever you're in trouble, Jamie Foxx would show up in a sheriff's hat.
Jamie Foxx reportedly rushed the stage in an attempt to help him. Confirmed, the LAPD confirmed the man was carrying a gun and a knife.
It was a trans man.
Chappelle has faced heavy criticism in recent years following his controversial remarks with the trans community. Many comedians have expressed their concerns over being attacked for telling offensive jokes.
Was that Will Smith?
Chris Rock was slapped on stage for his joke about Jada Pinkett Smith.
Downtown for the curtain call. Shout out to Jamie Foxx, by the way. Jamie, where you at?
And that was it. So again, I don't know if he was just joking or if there was any truth to the claim that the attacker was a trans man, or if that was. But other than that, what do you all think of all that? I'll invite you all.
I'm glad Dave wasn't hurt. First and foremostly, I'm glad that he was okay.
Yeah, I think that I agree with the folks in the joint with the whole him getting in with a gun and a knife type situation. I think that that's crazy. For that to happen, and how does that happen? I think that it seems like it's a climate where folks think they can just rush the stage and shit like that. That is a danger, because you know, first of all, Dave's a big dude. Number one. Number two, I know that how I heard about it, one of the folks over in LA had tweeted about it, and he said that after dude rushed the stage, you know, he got handled, and the Dave helped security stomp dude out, whatever, so on and so forth. I think that, you know, regardless of what you feel about anyone, I don't think it's cool for folks to think that they can just run up on stage and try another human, you know. So that's just how I see it. And, you know, I guess dude got what he got, carried out on the stretcher.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, again, after all the jokes, I don't like this. It feels like, I don't know if this is a shift in the zeitgeist or whatever, but I don't like this whole thing of people coming up on stage and interfering, whether it's T.I. doing his thing to the sister at the comedy thing, right, or whether it's somebody rushing Dave Chappelle.
What happened with T.I.?
When he, you know, a couple weeks ago, when he interrupted the sister who was running the open mic night because she was making jokes about his arrest or alleged crimes, and he walked up on stage and took the mic from her. And,
I missed that.
Oh, you didn't see all of that?
No.
Yeah. So, like, you know, I mean, all of that from Will Smith's thing, like, I just don't like any of it. I just think, you know, yeah, I just think everybody needs to stay in their seats, stay where they are, and handle their disagreements differently. And, you know, philosophically, I'm you know, of the mind that, you know, because if you do that, whatever happens to you is deserved. I mean, it's just, you know, you cannot be rushing the stage. If Chappelle is saying something that is offensive, or that is, I don't even know what the cause was, so I don't even want to, you know, but if anybody is saying something you don't like, there's got to be another way to get to deal with that.
But let's not also forget that, you know, there are overzealous fans out here. Because like you said, Jared, we don't know the reason why this person ran up on stage. We don't know if it had anything to do with a joke that Dave told, or is this person obsessed with Dave? Did they just want to get up on Dave? You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to speculate the motivation. I mean, I see how we can sort of lump these incidents kind of together because of what we saw with Will Smith and Chris Rock. But obviously that was a personal, that was something personal betwixt the three of them. And I'm just hearing about this T.I. incident, and, you know, T.I. didn't like what was being said, so he went up there and took the mic. But this, I'm not sure this is that per se. You know what I mean? I need more information. I need more details about who this person was, what possibly their motivations were. I can't assume that they just ran up there because they told a joke that they didn't like. This person could be, you know, mentally unwell. They could be a overzealous fan. They could be all kinds of things. So I would like to hear more details about who the attacker was and what was their motivation.
Yeah, whatever the case is, you just can't be running up on stage on motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, even if you love me, don't run up on me because of the fact that I'm not going to be able to feel the love, because I'm going to respond kindly, you know. So it's not, you know, and I know that, you know, some folks like, you know, well, fuck Dave Chappelle, fuck whatever. Yo, listen, dude, you can't be running up on nobody on stage, period. You can't run up on nobody, period. You know what I'm saying? Because I see folks, I think that oftentimes too, and I kind of sort of blame shit on the internet, because I see a lot of folks get, you know, they get the wires crossed. Because I've been in places where cats get bold when they're in the audience and whatnot, and then when you address them personally, then it's like, oh no, I didn't mean that. No, motherfucker, don't. This ain't, you know, you're not in the chat. You know what I'm saying? This is real life, and people have family. You know what I'm saying? Dave has children. He has a wife as well. He has people that he's responsible for. So you running up, and I'm glad the man wasn't hurt. So whether you like him or not like him, that's not the move. Because had Dave pulled out and blasted him, now everybody would have been mad at Dave. You know what I'm saying? Or if you
I'm definitely responded, by the way, to the use of the word tackled. So that just you know is shaping my response. So Kim, you are right in terms of we don't know. But when I saw that the man ran up and tackled Dave, it was the word used. So I need to check. You know, you're right. I need to check everything. But that's what has me responded. Like if you I just can't imagine.
Kalonji,
Yeah.
I need you to give me some clarity about what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, and I agree by and large with what you're saying. But when you talked about, we shouldn't be running up on people, my mind immediately went to here in DC when our radical whites run up on Nancy Pelosi in the restaurant and tell her that she ain't shit. Like, I'm with that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I'm with that shit. Like, run up on the people in power and tell them about themselves. I am all the way with that shit.
Yeah, I'm with shut down the system, whatever. Matter of fact, if you want to run up on somebody that I mean, if that's what you feel, do your thing. But I'm not for that. Don't run up on me.
I got you.
But my thing would still be
talk your shit within a certain distance. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I give you a doctor's note. I just figure you ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So just go ahead on. Just don't follow me. That's just my position. And that's not
but
no
my point. So,
shit.
but even if but politically, we may agree with Pelosi being run up on. But my point would still. I'm saying philosophically, I'm still saying that people running up on Pelosi need to do that with the mindset that her security might have been instructed to fold you up. So that's the only point I'm getting at. Like, from her perspective and the perspective of those who are hired to protect her from what she is likely encouraging in her behavior, is if they run up on me, fold them up. So that's all I mean by that. That's all.
I got you. I got you. Yeah.
I definitely don't want to discourage protests. I just think we need to be clear. Like, everybody needs to be clear what they're getting themselves into.
Understood.
Yeah. So I mean,
anyway.
I don't know. I don't. And for the record, I wasn't with Will running up on stage either. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't. I mean, you cross when you cross certain lines, you can't turn back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Don't put your hands on me. And we good. Don't make no threatening gestures, none of that shit, because of the fact that, I'm a grown man. I got grown children. I don't have time to play with you. Don't run up on me. You know what I'm saying? Run up on yourself if you want to. And like I said, man, that's just, I mean, it's a basic thing about a basic level of respect. When you run up on someone, it means war. You know what I'm saying? It's not a game. It's not an act of love for you to tackle me. And like you said, there might have been some type of mental illness or whatever, and hopefully he gets that taken care of. But yeah, I'm not. That's getting it's getting kind of crazy.
But to that end, though, I mean, and to where we were considering starting this morning, I think that if people are going to get run up on, or if there's going to be some sort of intervention, it should be along the lines that we're talking about or seeing in LA. Regarding the Roe v. Wade direction or decision or heading or trajectory, or if it's a protest of a Nancy Pelosi or whatever else is going on. That's the energy. So for all the whoever, if in fact anyone was upset with Chappelle or anybody else, Chris Rock, let's have that energy be directed at those who are really messing up people's lives.
Here.
So anyway, that was just my 2 cent segue, just to pull up this story quickly about the LA PD and protesters clashing downtown after a rally against the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Right. I hate to. My pettiness demands that I say this or bring this into this. That I just want this same energy to be kept when we're being told about the voting for the lesser of evils, which I think is part of why we are in this place. That the incessant narrowing and softening of the righteous anger against what is not, being delivered to the masses of the people is I think, I know it's the Republican appointees that are causing all of this, but at the same time, it is the absence of truly progressive candidates that would probably have beaten these people had they been truly supported and allowed to reach the people and have the people's votes counted towards them, that would have maybe prevented those people from being in a position in the first place. Because again, I think this is going to be turned around in the coming cycles to say this is why we have to vote for whatever Wall Street funded Democrat we're forcing down your throats in the next election. But anyway, I'll stop there.
Well, to your point, Jared, so even if let's say all of Trump's appointees were allowed to be seated to the court as they have been, we had 8 years of Obama. We had 8 years of Bill Clinton. Roe was settled in what, 72? These motherfuckers had more than ample opportunity to present Roe v. Wade or federal access to abortion. And they had an opportunity to make that law with 2 Democratic presidents, with a number of times that there was a Democrat in the White House and democratically held majorities in Congress, and they just didn't. They just didn't think it was important or important enough, or they wanted to hold the abortion issue out there as a dangle, as a carrot, like, hey guys, don't forget, abortion is on the ballot. If you don't vote blue, no matter who, abortion could go away. And it's going to be really telling of the Biden legacy. He already has a shit legacy as it is, a shit legacy as a senator, shit legacy as a vice president, and now as president. Women's access to abortion, Roe v. Wade, the seminal Supreme Court case is going to get overturned under a Democrat's watch. Wow. Way to go.
Kim, that is a really good point, because the flip side of my own point is what you're raising. Like, how many times did Schumer and Pelosi and whoever the hell confirm whoever the hell these other folks are on these Republican appointees? They would have had to confirm them, right? Or sign off on them. They didn't stop the confirmation, even if they didn't have their president doing the nominating. So that's right. They're even more complicit than I'm.
Totally, because they could have made this a law. This didn't even have to be a court issue. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what a lot of these cases, at least recent cases, in this Supreme Court term is really Congress's failure to act. The reason why people in Puerto Rico who claim disability or SSI, or rather who are unable to claim these benefits, is because of a congressional law, right? The insular laws, which were passed 100 years ago, and Congress has had 100 years to fix this, and they refuse to, and it's obvious. But in the same thing with access to abortion now. I mean, this is scary times, guys, especially if you're a woman or a person who can get pregnant. You could have an abortion for a variety of reasons that do not include so-called convenience, right? It's not a convenient time for me to have a baby. You could have an abortion because the embryo has implanted itself in a place in your uterus that, as it grows, it could kill you. Like, there are plenty of medical reasons to have an abortion. And the fact that women are going to have to prove these medical reasons, or God forbid, if you are a victim or a survivor of rape, how the fuck are you going to prove to the state of Texas that you were raped in order to get a so-called valid reason or a legal reason to obtain a legal abortion? I mean, it's setting women up for heartbreak, really, for devastating effects to our lives and consequently to the lives of our families. So this is, I mean, it's bad. Like, this is very, 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 very bad.
And poor world majority women, because rich white women will still get slipped off to their special clinics and their spas and wherever the hell else to get their procedures whenever they want.
And this is more of a reason for us to organize. This is more of a reason for us to have these revolutionary doctors, these doctors who actually care about the people, who to create underground situations to make sure that folks are taken care of. The thing is, you have to, at the end of the day, I mean, shit, they still don't have clean water in Flint. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we talking about Republican, Democrat, Republican. That don't mean shit, because they don't care about humanity. You have to understand that. I think the thing is, we keep trying to appeal to their morality that is absent. Their morality is void. This is an inherently evil system. This system was bred on bloodshed. And it will fall via bloodshed. So the thing is, it's like all these good folks who are doctors and medical practitioners and so on and so forth. I mean, this is what we have to support. We have to support organized efforts. And I know some folks will be like, well, you know, that's not legal. I mean, trust me, in a few years, us sitting on this platform will probably be illegal. You know what I'm saying? And in some places it already is. In fact, it probably is already illegal, and they're just ramping it up right now. So, you know,
they just racking up the charges on us, Kalanji, huh?
Yeah.
They're gonna hit us with some RICO shit in about 3 years. Like, oh no, y'all been talking shit for a long time over there on PPM. Charge. Let me ask you guys a question, since I know y'all have much sharper class analysis than I. I mean, do you guys view this? And let me not even take claim for this idea. I read this on Twitter and I wanted to get y'all's take on it. I mean, is this an attack of the capitalist class on the working class? Is this, as we are experiencing historically low birth rates in this country, clearly people are disincentivized to bring kids into the world. Obviously, the material conditions in which we are facing makes that quite plain and understandable and obvious. But is this the capitalist class trying to compel, force, make poor and working class people continue to bear laborers for them to make sure that our labor force, that we are replaced by making us by making women bring children into the world? Do y'all see this as a sort of class warfare?
I think that it's more for white women. I think it's because of the fact that whites, Europeans are becoming extinct to a degree as time goes. You know what I'm saying? With quote unquote race mixing and all the other shit that the Republicans like to throw in the mix. But I would say too, man, I want to caution folks, because I hear folks saying that it's targeting non-men. Men are affected as well with the whole abortion thing, because it's a human situation. You know what I'm saying? You're not when you are dealing with this situation. It's dealing with there are families involved as well. It's not just every woman for themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's like those consequences and those situations that for whatever reason that a woman may want to have an abortion or whatever, it affects the whole. It's a community thing as well. You know what I'm saying? It directly affects the woman, but it indirectly affects the community as a whole. So I think that what we should attempt to do, and this is just my opinion as an organizer, what we should attempt to do is try to find points of unity and to fight this system together. The problem is we keep separating we keep coming with compartments. It's like, oh, well, it's because you're a man, or, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that. No, men have to be comrades and allies to women to make sure that we're moving as a whole, because this attack is on us as a whole. It's not just, it's not just gender or sex or whatever the situation is. And I think that to me, in my opinion, that's this is the only way we're going to win against these motherfuckers, because of the fact that they divide on every single level that they possibly can. And we play into it, because, every man's not an enemy to every woman. You know what I mean? So we have to figure out ways, for those of us who can unite. I mean, if you could unite with the white left, we should be able to unite with men as well, is my opinion.
Well, for me, when I think of the class analysis as it relates to this, the first thing I think of is, again, where I take Karl Rove at his word, that this as an issue is deployed specifically to create a wedge issue around which the Republicans can get conservative votes and reduce people to single issue voters. So I don't mean to dismiss and diminish the pain involved with the specifics of abortion and the impact on women, and to Kalanji's point, the impact on men and the family. But I don't ultimately see this as an issue of population control one way or another, in terms of numbers, in as much as it's an issue of maintaining a situation where the material conditions of most of the people in this society are suppressed, and around the world are suppressed, and that this is one way to protect the maintenance of that system. That said, where I do think there are histories, obviously, of managing populations for the purposes of suppressing rebellious potential as corporations take over land and resource and job opportunities. And I remember the documentary La Operación, and the history connected to forced sterilization in Latin America. And then in the Bronx, in particular, the same doctor that was doing it in Puerto Rico was brought to the Bronx. And the expressed reasons for that was that if you have too many poor people piling up, they will rebel. And we're not going to be providing jobs and space for them, and we're not providing resources for them. So we need to suppress their numbers to keep them from rebelling. I don't particularly see that as necessary at this point in terms of abortion. I see it more as connected to maintaining the material conditions that suppress the capabilities, the life experience and chances of people once they're here. Anyway, I'll just stop by saying I'd like to see us, similar to what Kalonji's saying, to organize all of this out of existence and make all of this moot.
Yeah, and I want to point out too, because anyway. I don't want anyone to think I'm not coming at anyone. I'm not, I saw, I'm doing my Jared today in the chat a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's not about making, and I'm not attacking you, Ricky. It's not about your comment to being divisive. I'm talking about us as a whole, because when we talk about population control, that is what power is. Power is about control and domination. And we have to, I'm saying that we as a whole, we have to be careful with how we move in, because of the fact that even when when our intentions are good, and even when we are up against this enemy, we must understand that these motherfuckers, I mean, there's layers. It's not just a surface situation. It's not just simple as terminology. We're talking about, this is ingrained hate, ingrained control, and I'm absolutely against the government having control over the masses and on every single level. I'm against the formation of this government, how it came about. I'm against it as a whole. So no, I'm not attacking us. I'm saying, look, let's figure out, let's be creative, because we are intelligent people. We are sharp minds. And this is about life. This is about life as a whole.
Can I just say, because I wasn't being very clear to my point, at least. This is why my whole thing is, I don't think that there should be any legislation that prevents women or anyone from being in control over their bodies. But in the right wing, that would, on the one hand, have historically wanted to suppress the population of Black and brown people for fear of rebellion, is now wanting to make it easier for that population to expand. So that's why I'm saying that this issue is not, for them, an issue of population control. It's an issue of, in the sense of numbers, it's more of an issue of manipulating women because they can and they want to. And it's an issue of creating a wedge issue around which they can coalesce conservative votes and distract people from developing broader based coalitions for actual political power. So it's just like with a lot of issues that are sensitive and important to a lot of us, that we have to be able to see the issue as legit on its own and what we would want out of that issue, but then also see how that issue, even where it appears to be in agreement with us, is being manipulated by ignoble forces to distract and prevent us from something broader and bigger. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, women's reproductive choices are criminalized, and depending on where you are, they're already criminalized. If they put an indigenous woman in jail in Oklahoma for a miscarriage and charged a Latina woman in Texas with murder for a miscarriage or a stillbirth, I'm sorry, what you think they're going to do to Black women? Like, I mean, we are very much going to be targets for this kinds of restrictions. I mean, once this Supreme Court decision is released officially, what is it? 25 states have trigger laws so that abortion will immediately become illegal in these states once the Supreme Court ruling is official. That's scary. Like that is terrifying. You know what I'm saying? So I need the men to understand. We know that Black people are under attack, Black men, women, and children. But if you are like a cisgender hetero man and you think that ain't some laws about to come your way, it's something is coming, because they're not going to stop with gay people, they're not going to stop with trans people, not going to stop with women. Obviously, they haven't stopped with Black and Indigenous folks. I mean, there's something worse here that could be coming down the pipe, and I think we all need to be expecting that and need to be prepared for that. And while I agree with you, Kalanji, about how abortions can impact the whole family, it's only women who will die from lack of access to this medical care, right? So I think it's okay to prioritize women in this conversation.
I don't. But that's not what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that it's not okay to prioritize women. Women are the original victims. That's not what I'm saying at all. Mm-hmm. I'm saying I'm pro the woman having their choice. Mm-hmm. But I'm also saying that we still have to unite as a collective to fight mm-hmm. this enemy. I'm not diminishing the power of the women. That's not what I'm saying of the woman. That's absurd. I'm not saying that at all. Perhaps mm-hmm. I'm not wording it correctly. I'm saying that yes, we need to back sisters, and at the same time, sisters need to back brothers as well, because of the fact that this is an intentional assault on us as a whole. It's not just either or. And of course, I mean, I don't expect anything.
Explain that though. I really don't understand. What do you mean by sisters need to back brothers as well on this? I just want to know. I just want to be clear.
What I'm saying to you, for clarity, and mm-hmm. anyone else that don't understand it, every man, because they're a man or cis hetero, however you all like to phrase it, is not an enemy to every woman. I'm saying to you that me, as a man, mm-hmm. I'm standing with women in regards to this law. I'm saying that no, the government does not have a right to do shit. So I'm saying that while I'm standing with you, I don't want to get, don't lump me with everybody else. That's all I'm saying. If I'm side by side with you, and I'm saying that, look, this is my woman, this is my wife, this is my girl, my whatever the case is, my partner, whatever you want to choose to call my compliment. I'm saying to you that it's gonna affect us if it's a problem. Something can happen to my wife, something can happen to my girlfriend, or whatever the situation is. And these motherfuckers may want to stop us from doing whatever it is that we decided together. Whether we decided or not, it still affects and impacts both of us. Now, that's not taken away. That's not saying that the woman won't be affected physically. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Psychologically, mentally, in many cases, are part of control as well. It is when you talk about domination, it is psychological as well. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that, this ain't the pain game, men got it, you work. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying I stand with women against this particular ruling, and I think it's bullshit. But at the same time, we have to figure out a way to work together. And if mm-hmm. we can't figure out a way to work together, none of us are going to win. I don't give a fuck what your fight is.
And the only thing I would expand that what you outlined in terms of you standing with your wife, standing with your girlfriend. I mean, stand with your one night stand, stand with your side chick.
Whatever. Like, I'm not. Hey, listen. Whatever you choose to call.
Kalonji, hold on. Let me be clear. I'm not.
Stand with your dog. I don't give a shit.
I'm not attributing that to you, but I'm saying that there are certain levels of women, rather, that some men view as worthy of protection and some men don't, right? The girlfriends are worthy of protection. The girl that you had a one night stand with in the condom bus, and now she's pregnant, and now she's looking at you like, are you gonna help me out with this?
Whatever your choice is.
That is less protection, right? I'm just keeping it a buck here with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's cool. I don't do one night stands, so I don't. That's not my.
This is not personal to you. Yeah, this is not personal to you, but a lot of us, and not personal to me either, but a lot of people do engage in casual sex, right? So I mean, let's not we're not children here, right? So let's be real. So that same level of support that you would have for a woman that you deem your partner, keep that. This not specifically to you, Kalanji, but men's who are out here fucking with women, keep that same level. When your side piece or the girl that you met at the club and she calls you up or hits you on the DMs, let you know that there's a situation. Just make sure, keep that same energy. If we stand with sisters, stand with all the sisters, not just the sisters whom you feel, or in the general you sense, whom you feel are worthy of your respect and your support. If we are all worthy of respect and support, then I want to see that same energy be equally applied.
Solid. And I unite with that.
Boom.
All right. Speaking of same energy and support and uniting, there he is.
Yo, I had to astral project out of this world because these humans are crazy.
I'm trying to go.
Take me with you. Shit. I need a seat.
Listen, humans are crazy. So I wanted to get to a little a piece that I seen, and I was like, yo, wow, this is mind blowing. I just had to leave the planet for a minute. So take a trip with me. Let's go.
Where you at now?
Oh, remix morning show.
Remix.
All right. What's good, everybody? Welcome out. Now, as you see, I had to leave the planet because there's a lot of human stuff going on that I just can't take part of. It's wild because at the same time we had a conversation yesterday talking about segregation and integration. Now, in certain institutions, so I was just like, yeah, certain joints we should be like, yeah, we good, we gonna stay over here. But certain ones we should be like, yeah, we're gonna go over there and find out what's going on to keep y'all a little bit accountable. So there was this one situation I seen when I was looking around, and I was like, wow, this is still going on. And this is about a teacher that got kids to pick cotton. I'm not lying, y'all. Check this out.
A group of parents in the Rochester City School District sounding the alarm after their kids came home this week saying a teacher at School of the Arts made racist remarks and had students participate in racist activities. Amel Alhal spoke to two of those parents and their students and has more on this story now.
Adam Teresa, the students I spoke with said this week the teacher in question brought in bags of cotton to school and made students pick out seeds. And on a separate occasion, the students said the teacher brought in shackles and handcuffs to use on the students during a lesson. Their mothers are outraged, and now they are calling on the district to do better.
He said, it's cotton, y'all gonna be picking cotton today. So I immediately was like, oh, I'm not doing that. And then he was like, do it, it's for a good grade.
Janasia Brown is a 7th grader at the School of the Arts and says being forced to pick cotton is not the first time her social studies teacher created a racist and hurtful learning environment.
She said, yes, Mom. He forced me to put handcuffs on my wrist. He put them on my wrist himself.
Vialma Ramos O'Neill says her son came home and told her the same things.
I honestly did not believe him because I never would have expected anything like that to be happening in this day and age.
The Rochester City School District has been made aware of these incidents. The district told News 8 the 7th grade social studies teacher was placed on leave and an investigation is underway. In a statement, RCSD wrote in part, quote, the district takes these situations very seriously as descriptions of what occurred in the classroom by the school community are extremely troubling. Jamir and Janasia say their teacher favored the white students in class. They said during the cotton picking incident, students in the class got up to throw out their cotton, refusing to participate. But it was only the white students who were allowed to do so.
My daughter gets up to go throw her cotton out. Why she can't go throw her cotton out? And you tell her, no, you have to sit down and finish picking the seeds out your cotton? Why you didn't tell the Caucasian kids they got to sit down and pick the seeds out their cotton? Why mine? Why the rest of them? That's totally unacceptable.
I just felt ashamed to be my own race. He made me feel that it was okay for white people to say this to me. He made me feel like he made me feel degraded.
The district is asking parents and their students who were involved in this incident to contact them with any information. Adam, Teresa, back to you.
All right,
Okay. Well, like I said, certain institutions might need to get integrated Because you think about it, if it was an all-white class and they was doing this, then they wouldn't see anything wrong with this. Now, being that there was a black kid there, they're able to be accountable. Like, now we got to make sure that this ain't cool. This ain't cool to teach. This ain't cool to do to these students. So it's kind of wild that this is still going on. This actually happened like last week or something, but 3 years ago, the same thing happened. So that's a topic that could be reached one time. Integration or segregation, which one was best in institutions? Well, that's what it is for today. Just my thoughts out of space. Let's take it back to the crew. You know how we do. Yeah.
Hey, if separate but equal was actually a thing, I'm with separate but equal for real. But it wasn't equal. And that was one of the main problems. But I'm with separate but equal, but it won't equal.
So yeah, like I said, it was kind of wild because even like even the conversation yesterday about cops, about institutions of military, should we join? Should we stay away from it? It almost feels like somebody needs to be there to keep somebody accountable a little bit.
But do they keep them accountable though? Because clearly the white teacher was rocking on with that lesson, regardless of what these dark students had to say about it. The cotton picking lesson continued. So I mean,
let me answer that since you asked. I'm thinking that if we didn't have black doctors in some of these hospitals, that a lot more killings would be going on. But the fact that there are some black doctors in there, they're like, oh, we can't kill these people like we would regularly kill them. So I'm just thinking that maybe.
Have you ever heard of Obama?
I don't agree
right now.
Huh? I don't agree with any. Yeah, I don't agree with any of that. And not only Obama, but what about Ben Carson? You know, he spent, you know, like. Anyway, the institutions always take over. There was no way. There is no black radical intervention that can occur by participating in any of these institutions. From the university.
You don't think it would have been a lot more black people killed in hospitals if we never would have got in there, or it would have been a lot more?
How do we know?
First of all, the way you're characterizing the killings in hospitals, I think might need some discussion. But no.
Well, let's go back to the police.
But here we are. But look, we have more black nurses and doctors today than ever at all levels of that institution. And as an institution, it is still not made properly accessible, affordable, reachable, workable to black and or other communities. So their participation has not satisfied the overall health condition of black people. Whether it's physical health or access to health care. So that would be my point. We've had every level of the military headed by black people and increasingly even black women. And there has been zero shift in the function, deployment, use of the military at all. So same thing with the police, mayors, etc.
I guess maybe not now, but I would say in the past it was necessary.
Listen, we live in Atlanta, and Atlanta is one of the blackest cities in America, and it's so much control from these Negroes. As the Ruber would say, the slaves run the plantation here. We've had a black mayor for 40 years. That hasn't stopped police murders. That hasn't stopped any poverty. There was a point where the homeless population was up to 30,000. So I don't even understand how that would even you know, as Imam Jamil H. Rap Brown would say, to be black is necessary, but it's not sufficient. You know what I'm saying? We have to be clear that we have enemies that are blacker than midnight. You know, I mean, shit, Mobutu. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't. We get caught up in it because I think the thing is that we're forgetting is that, unfortunately, quote unquote, black leadership, the vision of black leadership in America is to mirror what white supremacy is. You know what I'm saying? That's what neocolonialism is all about. You know what I'm saying? Making it, changing the facial structure, changing the complexion, not even the complexion, changing the idea, but the mindset itself is what produces white supremacy. It's not just the pigmentation. So I
just think that those students would have been learning about cotton and slavery a whole different way if it wasn't for a black student being in there, and the fact that it would have continued to be taught like that. But now this school is being put to the fire. Like, yo, this is not how you teach.
I appreciate them doing that because of the fact that we pick cotton every day. You know what I'm saying? They just made it clearer for you, a clearer example, because that's what capitalism and imperialism is about. It's about the have-nots lifting up the haves. So it is a reflection of what America is today, what the United States is today. So yeah, we pick cotton every goddamn day.
All right, well, that's my 3 cents for the day. I'll return to the planet later. Peace.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, Ear Doctor. Hey, listen, everybody, we were intending to have Davon Love of Leaders of a Beautiful Struggle this morning, but we had a little mix up and he won't be able to make it. So I just want to let everybody know that, again, In Search of Black Power from Leaders of a Beautiful Struggle, the new podcast launching here, will air at 12 o'clock today, the second episode. Their first episode about the cannabis industry was very interesting. And one thing that I did want to raise with Davon and that crew that I'll just bring up here quickly, then we can get to whatever you all want to before I think Kim has a guest coming. Is that in their episode regarding cannabis and their discussion of its relationship to the issue of reparations, I think one issue that they did not raise in terms of why reparations has gotten renewed focus lately is unfortunately the rise of ADOS and FBA. And I think that by not including them in the LBS analysis of the rise of reparations as an issue today is missing something important that is happening. Now, I think it's done similar to what they were saying in their episode in a conservative way that narrows and reduces our standards for what reparations could mean or what revolution should mean. But anyway, anyway, that was just my 2 cents that I'll raise with them at another time. I'll share with you all, obviously, this morning, and encourage everybody to start watching that show, as we hope you are watching all of the shows on the platform. So
right on.
Anyway,
we have some more shows that'll be coming up, so definitely, stay tuned. And we're still looking for hosts as well.
Anybody submitted? You got some submissions to review?
Nah, they talk good,
so,
but we haven't seen anything just yet.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we see a whole lot of people like,
I'm
down.
So.
We ain't get nothing yet.
No, I mean, nothing.
Zilch.
Nothing I'm aware of, at least.
Unless they send it to someone else's email account. We're not getting
that. Can't be right. Chat. Come on, remixers. I thought y'all about this action. Not one person sent anything. Like, what? Come on, man. Y'all got all that mouth. Y'all got all that mouth. Y'all got all that mouth.
The only on that front that I'm aware of that is seemingly moving forward is the show with Lorenzo Irvin.
Yes,
that we are developing. It looks like its proposal is being developed and on its way. That was highly requested after his appearance last week. So people should stay tuned for that as well.
No
Quaker anarchist, you on the East Coast. Don't throw that time as an excuse. Talk about we start at 8 o'clock. You up at 8 o'clock. That's cool.
In the chat every day, talking about you ain't got time.
Right.
Oh, hold up. Sith Lord, you about a week or two late now. Geechee has now joined me every Friday with Brother Diallo. So that's a couple weeks going, and he'll be and we'll all be on Friday. So keep up, catch up.
Glad to see those brothers on, man. It's a good combo. I said I'm glad that Geechee and Diallo have joined the ranks of I Mix What I Like. Thanks for firing Kaba.
Real quick,
shout out to my brother Kaba out there. You're fired.
his schedule, he got too big. He got too big
fired, dude. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it happened around here. Hey, I
That's
fire
what
people from other people's shows. Matter of fact, Kim Brown, who you got co-hosted, I might fire them. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't got no co-host. We dolo. This is a dolo mission. This is
Riot started to come through firing everybody.
It's
But
me against the world out here on BIDWKB. But real quick, Liu Kang wants to know what are the parameters for a submission. I'm gonna assume, Liu Kang, what are y'all looking for? Like a minute, maybe 90 seconds? Yeah. Talk your shit, baby. You know
30 seconds, whatever.
If you could submit a whole show proposal via the form at blackpowermedia.org, right there in the contact section. But we are inviting 30 to 90 second shorts of if you want to
yes, we are, and we may possibly be working on one.
Why not? Absolutely.
I know the ear doctor was talking about something recently.
I mean, I think broadly speaking, we're up for everything, like particularly within sort of the broad context of the politics on this platform. We're open for everything: sports, cooking, comedy. We were working with the within our Gates crew for the film review show, which we're hoping will still take place. So like we're open for I'm
gonna see if my son could get a show. Shout out to my son. He had his 5th grade band joint yesterday. He's playing the euphonium. You know what I mean? So I'm happy that he's doing this thing. And shout out to my daughter. She has a ballet concert today. So I know it's not called a concert, but whatever the hell it's called, we'll be there.
Recital.
Okay. Yeah, right, man. Shout out to the ballet dancers.
No doubt. But I wanted to say, go ahead.
I was gonna jump in with the praise for my for our children. Like my oldest is a ballet dancer. She was doing it. Like we had like this last couple of days. It's been like a whole Renaissance woman thing around here, like between plays and dancing and soccer fields and all kinds of stuff. My children been killing it lately. Okay. So it's been quite remarkable. And to the point of the last story, though, there's a lot of issues still needing to be dealt with in terms of what Ear Doctor brought up parents need to be highly engaged in all these aspects of these activities, from schooling to all these other activities. There's a lot of folks out here who are not used to dealing with parents and full-grown adults and are too caught up in dealing with their routine and their children and thinking everything is one way, when, as Brother Marlowe on The Wire used to say, it's another way. You thought it was one way. It's not. Anyway, my bad. Anyway, go ahead.
So we perhaps have some guests joining us in about 6-ish minutes. I did drop a couple of stories in the chat. Actually, Jarrod, if you wouldn't mind clicking on that ABC story, this is a story I would like to get your take on, because I read the story and I'm like, more indications that the empire is indeed crumbling from the inside.
So Navy in the headline. Must be good.
Indeed. No. Well, it's perhaps it depends on your perspective. Let me put it that way. So this headline reads that Navy allowing many USS George Washington sailors to move off of ship after deaths and suicides. I thought this was interesting because I had seen, even prior to this most recent development in this, that there had been a couple of suicides specifically on this ship. And apparently it has been more deaths and suicides than we knew. So let me pick up where the article is. So within the last year, 7 sailors assigned to the ship have died, 4 of them linked to suicide, or rather likely suicide. Scroll. Quote, the 7 deaths are for the following reasons: 2 health-related deaths, 1 undetermined, 1 confirmed suicide, and 3 apparent suicides that remain under investigation, a Naval Air Force Atlantic official told ABC News in a statement. 4 of the deaths were in 2021, and the last 3 occurred within 1 week this April. Among several changes being made in response to the series of tragedies and complaints from sailors working and living about the working and living conditions aboard the USS George Washington, the Navy will begin offering temporary housing to those currently living on the ship. So they are actually about to start moving sailors off of this ship because apparently the ship is taking sailors left and right. The vast majority of the roughly 2,700 strong crew already sleep elsewhere, with about 400 living aboard. As early Monday, 260 of the sailors will begin to opt out of living on the vessel, according to a Naval Air Force Atlantic official. So blah, blah, blah. Gerard, real quick. So the carrier is at the Newport News shipyard, undergoing a quote refueling complex overhaul, which the Navy describes as a multi-year project, et cetera, et cetera. So I think you were stationed in this general area. Yes, no,
I
Gerard?
was on a very similar ship.
Your take. I don't know how often sailors die on ships, especially when they are docked at port. Your take about this: suicides and deaths.
I'm not surprised, unfortunately, and that 2,700 number goes up to 6,000 or so when the ship goes out to sea, and you get the full complement of the crew. So my point is that you get a lot of people living in closed quarters. You live in stacked rows where you can't even sit up in your bunk. There are no windows, so you can go. I literally went out at sea. At least I went close to almost 3 months without seeing the sun, working nights. Yeah, I mean, it can get, and then you work not only nights, but you work in spaces without windows. It's not designed for your. So there's a lot of reasons why I never. And then in fact, if you have combat conditions, if you have, I mean, the racism, the hostility, the anti-woman, the anti-gay, the conservative reactionary culture that I experienced, I remember vividly. Even then, as a young, largely ignorant man, I could feel myself becoming worse as a human being. I cared just less and less and less and less about just a lot of things.
So it's like
and then
prison.
And it is. I mean, there are. I don't like to. I mean,
3.5
I don't.
hours a day.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously prison is worse, but there are some unfortunate similarities. And then I do remember the night Jordan went off against Portland and hit all those 3-pointers. A white dude jumped off the flight deck when we were in port and killed himself. And we got word. We all ran out, and and as I came out to the catwalk, I saw them covering the body, and I remember shoes I remember seeing the shoes way down from the body. For some reason, that stuck in my mind. But the attitude was. But I remember my attitude was like, "Damn, do we know who that was? Nope. Let's go back to the game."
Whoa.
It was like, I don't know who that was. Let's keep it. There were white boys who jumped off. I remember we were out at sea, who jumped off the ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean in an attempt to get themselves sent back home. There were people that when they showed Mississippi Burning on the ship's TV show, there were a lot of racial fights, and people were sent home from there. If you got word that your wife cheated on you, for instance, you might get sent home. I mean, there's a lot. And my point is, there's a lot of negatively impacting context in or out to sea, and in port or out of port. And I think that so I'm not surprised, unfortunately, that this would still be going on. And the context is that they don't care. The military is next man or woman up.
I don't know why. I think of, when I think of the Navy and what you're saying, just listening to your story right now, I think of all the Africans who lost their lives in that water, what I'm saying, coming across. And I can only, in my mind, I see them pulling some of these folks, come hither. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, because I'm heavy on the whole spiritual side of things, man. I don't think that the blood that's soaked inside of this soil and these waters will go unavenged, man. That's just my belief.
It's a terrible environment. I have, I only did 4 years, and it's already been almost 30 years. And I think about it constantly. I feel still traumatized by it. I mean, it's whenever it's brought up, I had a visceral reaction just to seeing the word. I don't even want to go on cruises.
Wow.
I'm totally, I feel, anyway, I just, so I empathize with all of that. And I just feel, anyway, I get it. We don't want to, they're in the military. Their ultimate mission is not a good one, but the people that are brought in there are brought from the worst conditions in this society.
Mm-hmm.
They are not treated well. You are not encouraged to the highest of your, of our human capabilities. In fact, quite the opposite. They tell you don't think. They tell you listen to the last order you were given, and that's it. Like it's very much focus on your job. And anyway, so I know we got guests and stuff. I don't want to take up too much time. I could go on for days about it, but I'm sorry to hear that, and but I'm not surprised.
Interesting. Okay, well, guys, stay tuned. We have an interview coming up. We're going to be talking to some of the organizers and founders of the Black Mothers March happening this weekend. Stay tuned. Black Power Media.
Yes,
Welcome back, everybody, to Black Power Media. This is the Remix Morning Show, and I'm very excited and honored to be joined this morning with two of our guests from the Black Mothers March. We're joined today with Yejide Orumila. Yejide, please correct me if I mispronounce your name. Thank you. Yejide is the chair of the Black Mothers March Committee, also president of the African National Women's Organization. And we're also joined with Amanda Wallace, who is co-chair of the Black Mothers March Committee and a founder of Operation Stop CPS. And I'm so intrigued behind the mission behind this march, which is scheduled this weekend. And Yejide and Amanda, welcome to Black Power Media. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us.
Okay, so you guys are based out of Chicago, and from my understanding, the Black Mothers March, which is scheduled for this weekend, I want you guys to tell us all about it, when, where, the logistics, and all of that. But I'm most interested in the mission and the purpose behind this march, because you guys are trying to call attention to the historical racism of the Chicago public school system. So please give us some info about that.
Yeah, so the Black Mothers March is not about the Chicago public school system.
Oh, sorry. CPS. My bad.
Yeah, CPS, Child Protective Services.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. I'm sorry. Yes. CPS has so many definitions these days.
Yes. And we are, I'm actually based in Maryland, and Amanda is in North Carolina, and we are a group of Black women who have use this work, anti-CPS work, as our mission. So we are just two of the organizers. Other organizations that are involved are Movement for Family Power, JMAC for Families, Family Justice Tribe, and the Life Recovery Project, in addition to the African National Women's Organization and Operation Stop CPS. And so we are organizers that have been working with mothers over the last couple of years that have been attacked by the system, whose children have been kidnapped and put into what they call foster care or child protective custody. But what we are saying is that that's the child policing system, and that is family policing and surveillance system. And that when Black children, Black mothers are criminalized, Black children are kidnapped, it's nearly impossible to rescue our children out of the system. And we said it's a crisis. More than almost half of all children in the United States are Black children who are in foster care. This is only being 13% of the population, Black children are. And so that number is just is absolutely disproportionate. And so, entrenched in this is this whole court system, the legal system that protects child protective services, that attacks people, criminalizes them, puts them in jail, and really just makes it really hard. And so we are having this march because we want to bring attention to this issue. that we want to educate people that the state is wrong all the way across the board. You can't say that the state is right when they talk. You can't say the state is wrong when you kill Black people in the streets and then say, oh well, they have bases to kidnap children because the mother might be in having contradictions. We say all across the board we can't give them any space, and if we're going to solve the problems in our community, then it's gonna have to be up to us. And so I'll hit it over to Amanda.
Yeah, it's most definitely like, for me, I came to this space because I used to work in this system. Actually, less than a year ago, I was employed by Child Protective Services. And I saw what was happening to our people, especially our Black and brown people, and the fact that policies were being created just to be able to over-police our children and our families. And so instead of continuing to be a silent enforcer in this system and just doing what I was told, I said, no, we need to know our rights. We need to be able to fight back. And the reason why we don't fight back is because we don't know we can. All the information that we have comes from the people, right? The colonizers that give us this information. And so instead of continuing down that same path, we launched Operation Stop CPS, and we've met up with ANWO and all of these amazing organizations that are entrenched in this fight, that are saying enough is enough, and we are not going to go and ask for our children back, right? We are not going to ask for freedom. We are saying that we know we deserve it, we have the right for it, and we're going to come together and bring enough people together so we have the power to demand it. And so for me, it's extremely personal. Seeing the families that are impacted. The first case that we had was a 2-day-old baby that was ripped from his mother's hands because his mother was impolite, they said. What kind of country do we live in when our children are being ripped from their parents for being impolite and not fitting the bar that they've set for our people? And so again, we're just trying to speak truth to power. Our people need to know what's going on. We got to sound the alarm.
Talk to us about, exactly whose children are getting taken, because and it's so interesting that we're talking about this. I used to work as a child companion for a public school system many years ago, and this little white girl was routinely dirty. She was she had a lot of things going on, and I remember thinking, if this was a Black child, there's no way they would have allowed her to remain with her parents, especially coming to school in her condition repeatedly. Do you see, obviously, Black children getting taken for far fewer so-called justifiable reasons than perhaps children of other races?
Yes, and it's because the system was designed to take Black and brown children away from their families. And so it starts with schools. Just like you said, you have mandated reporters that are trained to see children, Black children, and see dirt as a sign of abuse or neglect. That's trained to see a child saying that maybe like they didn't eat something this morning. And instead of finding something at the school that they get millions of dollars to bring food inside the school, they'll call CPS. And so that's where it starts, is these mandated reporters that are trained to attack the Black and brown community and as by way of our children. And so yes, if that child was white, if the white child comes to school and the Black child comes to school, that mandated reporter is trained to look at that Black child and make a report versus find resources for the white child.
Yeah, and I wanted to also say that some of the cases that we've worked on, we've seen retaliatory attacks against families. For example, one case we worked on in Philadelphia, the landlord had turned off because he didn't want them to be in his apartment anymore. The landlord turned off the water, then called CPS, because if you don't have running water in your house, then that's a case for CPS to come in and say that you have neglect. And we also have different instances of entry, and definitely the schools, the hospitals, and things like that. So we say the CPS is the police, because even when you try to challenge them, they call their dogs on you, and they say they're going to put a gag order, and if you violate the gag order, then you are going to go to jail. And what we say is that these are public. These are people who are paid with our taxes. They are hired and funded by our money, in addition to the government money, which is our money, right? And so we have the right to say if somebody is attacking our community. And over and over and over again, we still see that. And yes, like majority of children in the United States are white kids, because that's just the numbers game, right? but we're saying that disproportionately Black children are coming into the system. And we connect this to the way that the system was founded. You know, the kidnapping of African people, the enslavement of African people, the sale and commodification of Black bodies, which has not stopped, which has continued through the child protective system. And people don't want to challenge it because they believe that children are being harmed. And in those cases, we say that, yeah, there are contradictions, but these are not contradictions that we created. If we're talking about drugs and all these other types of things that may question somebody's ability to be parent, we say that that's obviously something that was put into our communities by the police. We believe this is the counterinsurgency method that is here to keep our people divided and split our families. And if a mother and parents are worried about getting their children rescued from child protective services, they can't see the broader picture that has to happen, which is that we have to really struggle for our freedom beyond this. And so this march is a way of putting it in context and to gather folks and try to organize people, because it's not just a march. We are here to build a national movement that can take this on, because the state is organized and we have to be organized.
So what can Black parents do if they have their child taken from them via CPS, or they are being targeted for harassment via CPS? We know that these institutions, and particularly those who run these institutions, don't like it when you start documenting them, right? So what are the ways in which Black and brown parents can try to defend themselves from this sort of attack and defend their children from this sort of attack? Because the state wields all the power, right, by and large. But I appreciate what you all are doing here, trying to organize power. So what are the ways that you guys are offering or making even suggestions about how Black families can strategize to either keep their children or regain their children?
So, well, the first thing about keeping your children is we have to deepen our resistance to child protective services, right? So when they knock on your door, most people open the door and speak to them, not understanding that the knowledge that you give to them, the information that you give to them is what the weapon that they're going to use against you. So we have to stop talking to child protective services. You have a right to remain silent. They are an agent of the government. So do not let them in. Do not let them speak to your children. If you find out that CPS has a report on your child and your child might be at school, you need to go pick your child up from school and bring your child home, right? We have to go extreme, like right on the defense as soon as we are under attack. We got to change how we're thinking about this. These people don't want anything but our children. So completely go on the attack. And then you have to understand what the allegations are. Ask the investigator, what am I being accused of? And then you start to build your case based on what they say. What is the evidence that you have to go against everything that they have said against you? And then you need to find your community and your army of people that are going to fight back. You know, because again, they isolate people who are alone. So once you understand your case, you understand that this is not true and that you have a right to defend, then you find people around you that will help you defend. First of all, you also need to find the opponents. Who's your judge? Who's your CPS worker? Who's the attorneys on the case? You need their addresses, their home addresses. You need to know when your court date is. You need to know everything about them. You could do a simple Google search of their name and find all the dirt that you can find on these people. Because as soon as they attack your family, it is time to attack, y'all. We got to shift our mindset with this. And again, it's all about knowledge. Find everything that you can on these people and expose them.
I would also add to that that part of it, what we're doing to protect families before CPS comes there, is doing this march, right? Like, we're educating folks that this is happening. And even if you're not a target, even if you don't have your children in the state, you have to show up. You have to be able to respond when we ask you to respond, because one of the challenges that we constantly face with is that Black folks would question whether or not they should defend a mom based on what they think that she's done. I'm saying even if she did the absolute worst thing, what we're saying is that would we rather solve the problem ourselves or put her into the hands of the state, because we can't justify the state. We can't validate the state in any circumstance. And we have the ability to rehabilitate that community. And if we don't want that responsibility, we should just say so. But don't be outraged when these things happen. What we're saying, we have to take the responsibility for ourselves. If we see somebody in crisis, act on it, respond to them in love, and try to solve these problems. Because if we leave them out there vulnerable, then that means that they're open to everybody calling the state on them. And we don't want that. We don't want our children in the state, because they will not fare well. We've seen children get hurt, harmed, their health decrease. Parents start to have mental health issues because they're trying to get their children back, and they're running up to walls. And we say the time is now to act. The time is now before anything happens to you or somebody that you know. The time is now, and we ask you to organize. If you're listening to this, contact the Operation Stop CPS, the African National Women's Organization, any of the organizations that are inside of this March organizing committee. We all do work to organize our community and provide resources. So we say the time is now to act.
What are the outcomes for Black children who get taken away from their families? We see more stories about the rise of intraracial adoptions, or transracial adoptions, I think is what they're calling them, where non-Black people, specifically white people, are given access to our kids, to adopt them, to raise them in the ways that I guess that they raise their kids. But even beyond the Black children who do end up getting adoption, so many end up languishing in the foster care system, and usually have more negative outcomes for their life. What have you guys seen and experienced and observed, and have people tell you about either what happened to them after they were taken from their families, or people who actually know what happened to their children once they were removed from their care?
Well, I see enslavement. I mean, that's what happens is children that are taken into foster care. It creates a pipeline to prison. And that is what continues to keep our people enslaved. Because if you rip a child from their culture, from their wealth, from their greatness, and they have no sense of identity other than the people that they've been taken from and put with, and then you have set this system up to pipeline them into another system, which is the prison system. That's where they end up. They end up with mental health concerns. They end up with now children that are then impacted by this system and taken by this system. It's generational, and it's by design. It is completely by design. And so they do not fare well at all.
Yeah, one of the first cases that we had here in Washington, D.C. is a mother who was also institutionalized. Like she was taken from her mom and her brother. Her brother was sent to PG. She was sent to PG County, and her brother stayed in D.C. And she didn't know her brother after they've grown up separately. They didn't talk. They didn't meet. There was no connection with the family. So she didn't have any family when she aged out of foster care. She also had a child who actually ended up in foster care. And so she was reaching out for help. Because all she knew was the state. She knew that she could call on the state because that's the only thing that she knew as a parent. And so when she was struggling with her child, she called and asked for help. And they came and they took her child. And she was struggling mentally to try to deal with that impact of it and really fight it. So we see the impact of it. And in terms of like interracial adoptions, we saw the heart story, like when these two white women were adopting these Black children, and every time there was a CPS case that was brought up on them, they would move to another state, and they ended up driving their car off a cliff and killing all the children that they had, which was Black children. And we've seen this. We've worked in Europe as well, and we see that, where the population of Black folks is way smaller than the U.S., that these children go right to white families. We've worked in Sweden where it's very small, right? And so they use this as a way to get Black children. They don't got to go to the continent to steal Black kids. They could just get one of these African immigrants who come into the country and who are trying to survive. And if there's something that happens with them, the Black child will go into foster care, and then they could just adopt from that way as well. It really is a disgusting system that has to be torn down. And, this is the way that we are building power and politically educating people around this issue, because it's not something that we can wait on and that we have to show support right now.
So right now is what's happening this weekend, Mother's Day weekend. The Black Mothers March going on. Can you guys give us all the details, location, time, website? Where can people either participate or find you online in order to support?
Yeah.
Sure. So Black Mothers March, yes, it's happening on May 8th, and it was intentional. Mother's Day is intentional because there are going to be mothers who are going to experience this day without their children, right? And so we are meeting in Lafayette Park, right? The rally starts at 11 a.m. right outside of the White House, so we can make so much noise and let the government know that we are here and we are not going anywhere. And then people will be able to hear from the organizations that are engaged in this fight, from parents and grandparents that have been impacted by this system, right? And then we will take all of that energy and all of that we've heard, and then we will march downtown Washington, D.C. to speak truth to power and let everybody know that we are coming for our children. And then we will go back to the rally point and be able to, close out, and the organizers be able to organize with the people. Because again, that's what it's about. What are we going to now do now that we know? Because now we can't deny that it's a problem. Now that we know now, what are we going to do in our local communities? And so again, that's the Black Mothers March. But it's so much more than the march. We have yoga in the park on Saturday, May 7th, mother-daughter yoga, where we'll be able to start this healing space. And then we'll have a teaching at Black Box Theater in Acosta Park to be able to come together to teach about, the history of this system, teach about what are some steps that parents can take to fight back. And so that, again, when we go back to our local communities, we are educated and armed with the tools that we need to take this system down. Because as somebody that, again, has worked in this system, I'm here to bust the myth that they're needed. Mm-hmm. I've worked in the system for over 10 years, and I can count on one hand how many children that I've seen that have actually been abused. And so if you think about that, and you think of the salary that I've gotten for 10 years of work protecting children, and I've only did it 5 times, we gotta make that real for people. And the fact that they are getting trillions of dollars to employ people to do no job, to do nothing.
And to take your children into the state custody, because that's how they get funding. That's how the state gets funding, is how many children are left in their custody. And people can find out more about these events. We want you to register for these events. So the events on Saturday, May 7th, and then of course the march on Sunday, May 8th. You can go to blackmothersmarch.com, blackmothersmarch.com for all of the information. The events information is listed on the front of our website. And we also have an Instagram page that you should follow, Black Mothers March, Instagram page that gets you updated, hyped and everything for the march. And yeah, we just want folks to join us, particularly for that Know Your Rights event on May 7th at 2 to 4 at Anacostia Art Center, Black Box Theater. That's going to be a really important discussion. So we want the entire community to be there to participate in that discussion.
Absolutely. I can totally see this being an event that Black folks in the DMV particularly would want to get behind. Obviously, Black people nationwide are dealing with this. But yes, I have heard horrible stories about children, Baltimore City, PG County, DC, CPS, Northern Virginia. Like it doesn't stop to the extent in which Black mothers specifically are criminalized by the system, and tragically Black children bear the brunt of that. I want to thank you guys for joining us. We've been speaking with Amanda Wallace, who is the co-chair of the Black Mothers March Committee and the founder of Operation Stop CPS, Child Protective Services, and Yejide Orunmila, who is the chair of the Black Mothers March Committee and the president of the African National Women's Organization. Ladies, I so appreciate you guys making time to join with us and talk and definitely promote this very important event, but most importantly, this issue. And I would imagine we actually like to have you guys back on here to talk more about this at length. So thank you both so much for your work and for joining us today on the Remix Morning Show.
Thank you. Thank you
so much for having us.
All right, y'all, stick around. You're watching Black Power Media. It's the Remix.
Right on. Yes,
Yo,
indeed.
that was
Great
wonderful.
discussion.
Definitely great interview. Shout out to say Yajide Orumala and Amanda Wallace.
Yes,
good stuff.
and I appreciate them being patient with me because clearly at the onset I did not know where we were going, but that's okay. And that's what I'm saying. Black women are undefeated out here with collecting. They will collect you in a second, and I'm like, no, sis. All wrong. This is this.
Right.
I'm like, thank you very much.
But you still, but the good thing about it, you still hit, you know what I'm saying? You still hit the target because that was a necessary topic as well. And, so definitely shout out to them and you for bringing this to the forefront because it's necessary. Also want to shout out our sister, Tierney Cherie. You all should own her book, Fostering False Identity, the Child Welfare System Design of Social Control of the Black Family.
Right on.
Real dynamite piece, had her on Riot Started TV, talking about that in the welfare system as well, the history of it. So I think that we should definitely get behind these sisters. If you are in their area, make sure that you support what they're doing. And also, like I said, pick that book up as well, because it's absolutely imperative that this is an example of what I was talking about, just all fronts we're under attack, and it's so many, we get with so many hit with so many lefts, and it's like we almost begging for a right, so definitely salute to you all for bringing that to the forefront. It's absolutely necessary.
Word.
Right on. Speaking of which, I just saw an analysis of why what's his name lost to Tyson Fury, and it sounded a lot like what you just said. Where what's his name? Dillian White, is that his name? Anyway, the brother that got knocked out by Tyson Fury in the last heavyweight boxing match. And the analysis was that he didn't do what like Mike Tyson used to do, where if you are outreached, you got to get inside to not let them dictate this distance and the space with the jab, and use your jab to get inside and do the damage that White apparently was not able to do, and Fury knocked him out. So anyway, it just sounded a little similar to that analysis. I don't watch the fights. I don't, I was raised to be in opposition to that whole sport. But anyway, I just heard the analysis and thought it sounded like what Kalonji was saying.
That's always been my thing. The taller dudes, man, get inside of their joint, because you all got their reach, so you're not trying to get hit.
But like I just watched on Warrior Class the other day too, that if they come with a weapon, you got to get inside the reach of the length of the bat or the stick or the cane or the whatever, so that whatever part hits you has less force and does less damage. So we are a full service platform here, by the way.
Look at that.
It's really
you can learn how to, what I'm saying, we could take it from the mental to the physical, spiritual, and keep it moving. Balagoon is also a priest as well, by the way. So shout out to Balagoon.
Of course.
Louise, when did this man have time to do other things besides learn? He knows how to do a lot of things. It seems like he was always in school.
But that's what revolution is. It's a way of life. Well, you know what I'm saying? The thing is, when you separate it, it becomes difficult. But when it encompasses everything, then it's life. You don't have to, if we counted all the things we do in a day, we'll be like, man, that's a lot. You gotta brush your teeth, and you gotta wash your face, and you gotta take a shower, and you gotta get the soap, and you got it. You know what I'm saying? But when it's a natural thing,
Kalonji, touche.
Yeah. On behalf of Ear Doctor, who would also have likely said encompass as well.
I messed it up.
Shout out to what we want with the language.
I'm not mad at encompass.
Sorry, communication specialist.
Just all the grief we give Ear Doctor for all the mispronunciations.
Look, I'm not above. I'm not above correction, but in the mortal words of my father, you know the fuck I'm talking about.
You know the fuck I'm talking about.
I'm very Kwame Ture.
He like, oh, is that it?
It's an unconscious revolutionary act to not speak this colonizer's language properly. That's all it is. It's saying, no, dealing with the real. I'm not talking about the Deontay Wilder fight. I'm talking about the more recent one where Fury get knocked out another brother, apparently.
Real quick, I saw some people in the chat asking how to support the sisters that we just had on. Go to their IG page. It's at Black, spelled out, Black Mothers March. Very, very simple. They have a link tree available. I can't drop links in the chat. I don't know why, but they have a link tree and it's Black Mothers March. So if you guys want to support them in any way, materially, show up. That's how you find them sisters right there.
Heard up.
Right on.
What time is it? What time? We got 5 minutes.
We have 5 minutes.
Y'all want to shoot the shit for 5 minutes? Or y'all want to go into a story?
Well, I want to make an announcement tomorrow.
I just want to answer the question real quick. I'm talking about the Dilly and not Deontay Wilder, but the Dilly and White fight.
Mm-hmm.
That was just this fight here. This brother got knocked out by Fury. So that's the one I meant. Sorry.
We appreciate you.
Go ahead.
Appreciate you pointing out the brothers getting knocked out. You know,
I was asked. We just got to be clear. It's unfortunate.
Man,
yeah, we do have to be clear.
We got to promote our victories, man. we already get knocked out daily. But I want to definitely say tomorrow there will be a Riot Starter TV joint dealing with Fentanyl Inc. So I want you all to check that out because of the fact that it's so much talk around it that but folks aren't knowing what's going on. So I have an author tomorrow by the name of Ben Westhoff. He's an award-winning investigative reporter. He actually went to China and what do you call it? He infiltrated a Chinese laboratory that was making fentanyl pills and so on and so forth. And the cat who was the kingpin, they actually have a $5 million bounty on him now.
Damn.
The U.S. does. But the name of he wrote a book called Fentanyl Inc. How rogue chemists created the deadliest waves of the opioid epidemic. So I want you all to check that out. It's not gonna be as lengthy as some of my other interviews, but that'll be at 4 p.m. tomorrow. I think that it's a must watch. He also did a book, Original Gangsters, dealing with West Coast hip hop right before that. But yeah, it's a strong piece. I have another investigative journalist coming next week as well that's going to talk about how he broke some stories in regards to some cartels, a few cartels that was moving around, and also some things that was going on at Parchment Prison. We talked about Parchment a little bit yesterday, so stay tuned. We're looking to get the best of the best to come on and and let it do what it do.
No doubt. I mean, the fentanyl shit is crazy because, for one, there have been a spate of overdoses here locally, which a number of people have died. And it's a combination of folks, right? It's folks in the city. It's some Black people in the city who have died via overdoses. They had a couple of white teenagers in Northern Virginia who had ordered some Perk 30s over Snapchat or something, and they died. The fentanyl shit is no joke, yo. Like if you do any sort of casual drugs, and also I hope your man addresses some of the propaganda too, because I saw they had a story talking about the fentanyl overdoses, and they had some white man get up there talk about some fentanyl laced weed. I said, sir, stop your lies, please.
No.
Get it out, dog.
Yeah. No, they are. They're coming with all types of shit right now to try to increase it. So we're gonna talk about that as well. It's going down. Even back in the day when they had the rave shit where they was talking about all the folks ODing on X.
Yeah,
that was actually fentanyl.
No doubt. But I mean, I'm saying the propaganda about marijuana being laced with fentanyl. They try to throw all the drugs lumped in with fentanyl. I'm like, no, bro, sorry. Like, nah, I'm not buying that. But the perks, the kids that be on the perks and stuff, and then they buying these fake drugs laced with fentanyl, how it only takes about two little things of salt, basically two salt cubes worth of fentanyl that can totally kill you.
I'm sorry, Kim. They think that Jared is the trier of all drugs now.
I was going to say that was not on the list.
Of course not,
That
Jared.
was not on the
Jesus,
list.
not intentionally. I mean, anyway, I'm looking forward to this interview, Kalanji, because I know there are people who do intentionally do
but I do
fentanyl,
also.
but I know a lot of people who have died via overdoses.
Hold on. He's showing an ugly picture, Kim. What is this?
I'm also saying stay off the Navy though. Stay
goodness.
off the military drug.
Yo,
though.
yo, Jared, man, we might have to do a DNA test. I'm not sure. That picture's
Where's that?
a tad bit like
That's the ship's armory on the USS John F. Kennedy, circa 1991.
Okay, look at Jared looking like Jared Rojas.
You know what I'm saying?
Try to grow his hair. But anyway.
Hey, they kept that brother away from sunlight on that boat, man. Come on now. That brother didn't have no sun for months. He just said it. He didn't see the sun for 3 months. Imagine what that does to a light-skinned mulatto. It makes him almost translucent. It makes him see-through.
Look at Jared. Jared like,
look at that there.
Okay.
Get that there.
Jared, man, we want to see no nude pictures of you, man.
Hey, speak for yourself. Come on, Gerard.
There you go. That's the better one, though.
Floss that Navy body. Floss that Navy body.
That's you right there, Jared?
No,
that's my pops and Kwame Ture.
Okay, you know, I thought that was Kwame. I was going to say Jared on there looking like Stokely.
You knew that wasn't Jared. You knew that wasn't Jared.
Jared Carmichael. Jared stuck there, y'all, just in case you think he ain't connected. He said, "Yeah, it's how we do around here."
Oh yeah, no, and I'm I'm definitely Leah. I'm definitely lighter now. That's the whole story of my life. I lost my hair and my melanin.
Yeah, brother.
And now it's like a whole. Basically, yeah.
That is why we brought you back on Black Power Media, because we're gonna bring you back to black, brother. I got you. I got a bag of black.
I have,
for you.
As a shout out to Jerobi from A Tribe Called Quest in the last album, and I know we got to get out of here, but I have an unfinished biography that is subtitled "The Unblackening."
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You should let me do the forward.
Yeah. I wouldn't publish another thing without you writing the intro, my man.
No problem, brother. Hey, yo, listen.
Shout out to everybody, man. Another great show. Yes, indeed.
We love y'all. Thank you for your support. Come back and see us again. Remix Morning Show. We out here.
Mañana. See y'all.